We've got it wired in.
It's got a jumper on it, 110, 120 volts.
Excuse me. Both these machines operate the same as far as the safety system goes. You have a safety foot pedal on the right. When you press the pedal halfway down, it'll make the machine go downward. If you press it all the way down, it makes it go back up. That's your safety feature. On the left side of the foot pedal, you have a box bend pedal. The box bend pedal, if you press it one time and release it, gives an indicator right here that that front laser is turned off. The rear is still active all the way up until the final stages of the bend. It can be turned off for specialty bends, such as flange parts, like boxes or any kind of flange sticking up, material sticking up. That's all on your foot pedal. On the right, left side of the press brake, you've got the transmitter. It's got two lasers shining across right below the tip of the pulley and a little bit to the front. The one in the rear is the primary laser. The one in the front is secondary. The secondary is the ones you can turn off for box bends or flange parts. The rear one is the primary. It stays active all the way up until the final stages of the bend, and we'll get into that a little bit later on. If you notice on the receiving side, on the right side here, you've got 4 receptacles, about the size of a pinhead. You got 2 in the rear, 2 in the front. Again, the rear is the primary, the front is the secondary. On the head of the receiver, you have a flashing light. When it's flashing rapidly and faint, as it is right now, that means the system is in a ready state. It's ready for operation. If that light is solid, pedal. Unintentionally found out how to do that on purpose. I wondered how to do that. Okay, if this light is on solid, like so, that means the system is in a muted state. Nothing will stop the movement other than taking your foot or hand away from the approach. If that light is flashing slowly but bright, that means the system is calling for a stop test. The way that you force a stop test is raise the ram up all the way to the top. Press and hold the reset located on the side of the interface. So you have a little yellow reset button on the side of the interface. Hold it for about 3 seconds, release it, at which time when you press the pedal it's going to come down about 1 inch and stop. When it does that, just take it back up. If it accepts the stop test, it will allow you to function right on through. You'll see a mute signal and the cycle will complete it on its own. If it fails the stop test, it's just going to come down and stop on you again and keep calling for a stop test. If that light is flashing, okay, let's see if I can do that again. Yeah. If that light is flashing rapidly, like it is right now and bright, that means a critical error has occurred. The only way you can solve that is by pressing the reset, hold it for 3 seconds, release it, and proceed with the stop test. The reset's on the other side. I'm just pulling the fuse on it. Oh. I was doing the same thing as the reset.
I got you. Okay, okay.
The reset, by the way, is on the left side there where the unit is. On that one, it's on the right side. All right. Up at the top, you have a push button, a toggle switch, and a key switch. The key switch turns it from production mode, which is off, to calibration mode, which is on. If you notice, when it's on in calibration mode, the lasers stay illuminated all the time. Plus, your ready light goes out. When it's in production mode, your ready light comes back on, the lasers go out until you press the foot pedal or your palm button. On that one, you have palm buttons on that? Okay. I was going to say, on the Matas, we don't have palm buttons. Okay, key switch turns it from production mode to calibration mode. The black button initiates calibration. It also controls the receiver. The toggle switch controls the transmitter and it confirms calibration. Okay? I'll go into a little more detail on it here in just a little bit. I'm just going through an introductory stage right now. Push button controls the receiver up and down, initiates calibration. Toggle switch confirms calibration and controls the transmitter up and down. First three things that we're going over are alignment, calibration, and manual adjustment. We'll first do calibration, then we'll do manual adjustment, and then we'll go through the alignment procedure. Everything that I'm going over can be found on our website of safeguardingmachinery.com on the service page. There are 3 documents that you can download. There's 3 documents that you can download. One is alignment procedure. It walks you step by step through each step of aligning the system from the transmitter all the way to the receiver. Number 2 is operational procedures. It goes through step-by-step procedures on everything you need to know on how to operate the system and operate the machine with the system. The third is mute position troubleshooting, and it's a step-by-step guide of a go, no-go situation of what to do on it. As I said, the first thing we're going through is calibration. First thing you want to do, open the ram up as far as you can, at least 3 inches or more. If you get below 3 inches, you have to pay very close attention because it can be hectic about calibrating. You can still calibrate, you have to pay closer attention. First of all, make sure the ram is open. Place a magnet, just a straight edge magnet at the bottom edge of the upper tooling. Make sure it's flush and parallel. Then we'll come over here, turn our key switch to the on position, look to the face of the receiver. We see both lasers lit up on the receiver. We don't pay any attention to the transmitter. As long as we've got them here on the receiver, we're good. We push and release the black button. This is going to initiate movement downward. Then we'll push the toggle switch upward to confirm that we want to calibrate and release, then turn the key off. It takes it about 10 to 15 seconds for it to calibrate. Once it's done calibrating, it'll level out and give you a ready signal right here.
Do you have to calibrate that every day?
Any time that you change the upper tooling out. That's a good question. Anytime you change that upper tooling out, you need to calibrate. If you leave the machine longer than 30 minutes, we recommend you calibrate because you never know who's come over here showing Buddy how to run it up and down or whatever. So you may waste a lot of time if you don't.
At the end of the production day, do they need to turn it off or anything?
No. It's got a protected soft start, soft stop power supply in its cabinet. So power surges, leaving it on all the time, it's not going to hurt.
All right, now if the system isn't working properly, will it shut down the machine?
Yes.
And it cannot be operated until it's rectified.
Right.
So there's no bypass.
There is a bypass. It's a maintenance override switch. Okay? But you have to sign for it, keep it under lock and key. So whoever's in charge of safety, they'll have to sign the paper. I'll give them the key, they'll lock it up. You never want to have OSHA walk in here with that key in the slot.
Yes.
All right. Again, calibration. Turn the key on, look for the laser, push the black button and release it. Push the toggle switch upward, release, turn the key off. Use the 1 second rule when you're pushing these buttons. Push 1001 release, toggle up 1001 release, and then turn your key off. Takes it about 10 to 15 seconds for it to calibrate, which time it'll give you a ready signal, and it's good to go. Now, instead of changing this tooling out, I'm just going to simulate that we put a 1 inch taller tool in place of it. So I use the magnet to simulate that we've changed the tooling out. Now we're 1 inch taller on tooling. Turn our key switch to the on position. If you notice, I only have one laser lit. So I'll push and release the black button, but I'm going to wait until I see that second laser. Push the toggle switch upward, release, turn the key off.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Okay, and there you go. Now, going back to the short tool, we're done with the tall tool. Now we'll go back to the short tooling. Place the magnet back on the bottom of the tooling, flush and parallel. Turn our key switch on. If you notice, I have both lasers. So on this one, I just push release, toggle up release, turn the key off. See the difference between the two. If you're going to a taller tool, you have to wait and hesitate on the toggle switch until you see both lasers. If you're going from a tall tool to a short tool, you don't have to hesitate because your lasers are already there. You just push release, toggle up release, turn the key off. Everybody got it? All right, let's say that we're calibrating and we forget we're calibrating. We interrupt the laser as it's calibrating, either moving the tooling around, moving parts around, or maybe working with the back gauge. What you may see is something similar to this. You'll have one all the way down to the bottom, one all the way to the top, or they may both be all the way down to the bottom. What it's done is it's lost its sync, so we have to bring it back into its sync. The way that we do this, make sure the RAM is fully open, place a magnet, flush parallel, turn the key switch on. Using the toggle switch, we can move the transmitter up and down. Push it down, it moves the transmitter down. Push it up, it moves the transmitter up. So, using the toggle switch, we'll move the transmitters to where the lasers are shining just below the tip of the upper tooling. Make absolutely sure that the lasers are below the tooling, because if you're doing, if you're bending with a offset tool or a gooseneck, it could be up inside it. So you want to make sure it's down below the point of the tooling. Okay, now we've got our transmitter in place. We can push and hold the black button to bring the receiver up. If we push and release the black button, the receiver automatically goes downward. So we'll push and hold it, bringing the receiver up until it comes up and sees the transmitter. Once the transmitter and receiver see each other, it will hesitate. When it hesitates, that's when we release the black button. At which point, now we're ready for calibration. Push release, toggle up release, turn the key off. Any questions on calibration or manual adjustment? It's pretty simple. I mean, you can't mess it up by playing with it or whatever. So, as long as you don't take a hammer to it or bring it down into a table or anything of that nature, you're good to go. All right, on to the alignment procedure. Again, we have to raise the ram open, place the magnet, and just raise the ram open, turn the key switch on, remove the magnet, take a piece of cardboard with a straight edge, draw a line down from the top of it. Doesn't have to be a perfect line, just pretty well straight. Try that again. Line down from the top. What we're going to do is we're going to check the alignment of the transmitter. We're going to take and place this line at the tip of the upper tooling to where the peak of the upper tooling will be right there at the line on the left side of the tool. So we'll hold it like so. Then we'll take a marker and mark the top edge of the laser. This gives us a crosshairs effect to where the laser should be located. Now we'll take it onto the right side, hold it up in the same location, and it should be pretty much identical, which it's pretty close. Okay? That's how you check the alignment of the transmitter. To check the alignment of the receiver, it has to be calibrated. Both transmitter and receiver have to be located against each other. Take a straight edge. I'm leaving this magnet with you. Place the magnet to where it's splitting the bending line, top to bottom. The shadow of that magnet, I've got it off a little bit. The shadow of that magnet should line up with this white line right here.
Oh yeah.
See?
Oh yeah.
See the white line on the face here? Okay. Okay. That's all you have to worry about on the receiving side. Yeah.
That represents the top two.
That represents the bending line down from top to bottom.
Question: when every day, should I have like a stick to check to make sure it's working right?
Yeah, we've not got that far yet.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Once we've determined that we have a good alignment, we can take this back down. We've got full circles on it now. If we do have an alignment issue, the first thing we always want to check is this handle right here. Because if I just pop it loose just a little bit, see how far it's gone out? Always make sure when you push this in, it snaps or pops. If you hear it or feel it snap or pop, you're good to go. It should lock it right in. Never do that closed fist because you will lose a fingernail. Always do it palm open. Now,
Well, about 4 of them we need to get.
Now, let's say that we do have an alignment issue. The best way to do an alignment on this machine is to make sure you've got the same height tooling on both left and right side of the machine. The further out you've got them, the better off you are. As long as you're more than 70% of the bed length, you're still going to be okay, but it's a lot better if you've got a small section on both ends. With that in mind, you take a piece of cardboard, lay up against the right side of the tooling where it's flush up against it. Then we'll take and move the transmitter. We don't worry about the receiver at this point because we're only aligning the transmitter. We'll take and bump the transmitter up until it's actually interrupted by the left tooling. Now, this tooling is just a hair shorter than the other one, so you're going to see a little bit of a shadow there. If you had the same size tooling on both sides, this laser would form precision around this tooling. There wouldn't be a gap if you push on that. Did you push on that? Okay.
Did you push on it? Huh?
Oh. Okay. Well, the gap is gone right now. So it's fit up against it there. So we're not seeing a gap between the laser and the tooling. That's good. That's what we want to see. Whatever's interrupted on the left side, it's going to be perfectly shaped around the right side. If you have to do a alignment, we have 5 alignment bolts. 1 on the inside, 1 on the outside, and 3 in the rear. There's 2 on the top on this side, 1 on the bottom on the rear. On the other side, it may be the opposite. Or it's the opposite. You also have 2 lockdown nuts in the back. The lockdown nuts are 13 millimeters, so you'll have to loosen them a little bit to get it to give. The alignment bolts have locking nuts on them also that are 10 millimeters, so you'll loosen those locking nuts. If we move the inside and outside one, it's going to aim the system up and down. If we move the 2 in the rear, it's going to aim it out or in. If we move the 1 in the rear, it's going to kick it out or in. If we move all 3 in the rear, it's going to move it out or in. If we need major alignment, such as 1-inch increments, we can move it right here with these holes right here. That's 1-inch increments back and forth. A little more. If someone accidentally brings it down into a table and disturbs it from up and down, you've got 4 flat Allen heads back here with flat nuts on the back. You can loosen those, hold underneath, loosen this outside alignment bolt, and you can move it up and down this way. The only time that you should have to pull the alignment is if someone has crashed it. Other than that, you shouldn't have to mess with it. If you think you have an alignment issue, first thing you do is check this handle. Second thing you do is go get someone with a second pair of eyes to check behind you to make sure you didn't miss anything, because it can take anywhere from 30 minutes to 3 hours to do an alignment. So it's something you do not want to just jump into. The only time you should have to do an alignment is if the system's been crashed. Also, when you're doing alignment, you want to place a torpedo level on the straight edge to make sure it's straight up and down. Once you get it lined up, tighten your locking nut and your locking bolts in the back. You got the transmitter lined up, then you go to the receiver. Again, you use the magnet for the straight edge. Before you do that, you'll have to calibrate. So we don't worry about the magnet whenever we're doing alignment. We just go ahead and do a dummy calibration. Bring the receiver up to where it sees the transmitter. And we let it calibrate. Then we'll place the straight edge on here and do the calibration, the alignment on the receiver the same as we did on the transmitter, just in reverse. Any questions on the alignment? As I said before, if you forget anything, if you do have it to an alignment and you forget anything, that alignment procedure is step by step. Just go by each step, don't leave anything out, don't add anything in, and it'll walk you through each step. Next is mute positioning. Where'd he go? This is
Robert.
what he was asking about. The way this system operates is as the ram is coming down, the laser is actually monitoring the movement of the ram. When it sees the ram go into a transition of slow speed, it starts to set a timer. Those timers time out at 7/10 of a second, very quickly. Once it times out, and the timers time out, it will do a distance check of 4 millimeters. So you're doing a timing sequence, then a distance check. If there's no obstruction during that timing sequence and or distance check, the system will mute out. You'll get a muting signal right here, and it'll allow you to go right on through the part. If there's an obstruction before either of those two complete, it will come down and stop, or come down and stop and go back up, depending on the machine. The way that we achieve the correct position for the muting is by mute positioning. Its nickname is the nickel test. If you take one nickel, it's right at a 1/16 of an inch. You take two nickels, place them together, you've got right at an 1/8 of an inch. So you can take two nickels, or you can take an 1/8 of an inch scrap piece of material. Lay on top of the material that you're getting ready to bend, or a scrap piece of material equal to the size that you're getting ready to bend. Preferably on the die out to the side where you don't bend it. That way you can test it over and over again and not have to worry about bending it. You will place okay. Right. It comes down, goes through the muting sequence, goes right on through it. If we take the 1/8 of an inch piece of scrap and we lay across it, it should come down and stop. Take it away, it goes through it. If it comes down and stops with just the material in place, that means your mute positioning or your speed transition needs to go higher. If it comes down and goes through the piece of material equal to what you're bending and the scrap piece of material on top of an 1/8 of an inch, then you need to take the transition point downward, closest to the material. So this ensures that you've got a adequate safe distance from unprotected range. Okay.
No, I changed it. I didn't change it.
I don't know how you would do it in the auto gauge, but there's a rod on the side. They'll have to put some kind of a adjustment on it to move it up and down. Yeah.
Oh, for the slow
Yeah.
down.
That would be the easiest way to do it.
Okay. Like a set collar or something on the
Yeah,
side.
just a
Washer.
round set collar. Okay, just move it up and down. So, to recap, and the only time that you, to recap all of it, the only time that you do calibration is whenever you change this upper cooling out. Alignment is only if you crash the system. Mute positioning is if you do any change whatsoever to your production status. If you change material thickness, if you change speed, if you change speed set point, you need to do, or at least do a check on your mute positioning. Again, to test it, place a piece of material equal to what we're bending on the bottom die, bring it down until it goes through the bend. Place an 1/8 of an inch piece of scrap on top of it, bring it down again, and make sure it stops. Okay? Now, this system also comes with a wavy function override. Means if you have a wavy piece of material, a bent piece of material, or a bowed piece of material, and it interrupts the laser, it will stop. Just lift your foot up, press it a second time to force it right on through. The first hit of the foot pedal is an activation. The second hit is an override. So when we come down and we see an obstruction, if we decide we want to continue on through that obstruction, we can. Just lift your foot up, press it again, force it right on through. Now, sometimes you may have a flange that will protrude past both lasers. In this situation, what we recommend is bring the ram down until it goes into a slow speed. Right there. Now you can slide your part in. Doesn't matter where your part's located. If it's blocking both lasers, it will mute out after the second hit of the foot pedal. Okay? Depending on where it's located or how close you are, it may activate on the first hit of the foot pedal. If it's close enough, it recognizes safe distance. Now, there is another way that you can do that. You can either do it down like that, or you can position your speed transition point where it's slow all the time. It comes down slowly and increase speed or cross speed. It's recommended, if you can at all, to do it the way I just showed you. But if you have a big flange or whatever, you've got to travel down inside it, that's the only way you can do it. It's slowly all the way. Any questions on what we covered so far? All right. I went through earlier the automatic stop test. The automatic stop test is any time that the machine is run consecutively 4 hours non-stop. Or if you press the reset button. Or if you cycle the power of the machine. Any one of those three will call for an automatic stop test. Internally, it does the stop test. I'm going to press that reset button. Hold it for about 3 seconds. Okay. Now I'm going to force the stop test. So I raise the ram up. It's going to come down, stop, take it back up. If it passes, it'll go right on down to the top edge of the material. That's an automatic stop test. This is a manual stop distance test block. Okay? This is to ensure that the system is responding and set up properly, or responding properly. Mute positioning is to ensure that you're operating properly. This is to make sure that it's responding properly. Two totally different meanings there, so don't get them mixed up. We want to check to make sure the system is responding properly, so we'll turn the key switch on, illuminating the laser. We'll take the round peg, hold it up against the bottom edge of the upper cooling, and ensure that we interfere with at least one receptacle. On this one, we're interfering with 3, so we're good to go. We'll turn our key switch back off, putting it in production mode. Take a piece of material equal to what we're bending, lay across the bottom die. Take the largest section of this block, lay across the bottom die, across the bending line. Preferably, put it to where it won't get crushed if it fails. Okay? Bring the ram down until it stops. Once it stops, slide the material and the block over. Make sure we have wiggle room. Okay? Slide it back over. That's phase 2. Phase 1, phase 2. This is distance, this is high speed. This is final approach, 2 left. What we'll do is we'll stop it with the smallest section. We're going to test it with the largest section, the middle section. Sorry. Stop it with the smallest, test it with the middle step. Before we do this, we put it in box mode. So we'll hit the left pedal, put it in box mode, place the smallest section across the die, bring the ram down until it stops. Slide it over, slide it in, make sure we have wiggle room. Okay? That's your manual stop distance test block. That's to ensure that the system is responding properly. Mute positioning is to make sure the system is set up properly. So this is responding, the other one's set up. Any questions on anything? We're almost done, I promise. All right. The only maintenance you have to worry about is a dry, soft cloth, no liquid on the transmitter daily. Okay, it's daily maintenance. Transmitter lenses, just a cotton ball or a soft cloth, wipe them out, no liquid. On a monthly or biannual or however you want to do it,